All right, we are back and we are ready to get going. Hit the ground running here. Next, it is time for some group therapy, a chance to check in with our characters and see how we're feeling about recent events, maybe catch up on what happened a little bit last session. And I usually start with Eigner, so why don't I just start with Eigner again? Eigner's feeling kind of confident, to be honest. Like, he definitely has a bit of a roller coaster ride with, like, how sure of himself that he feels. And he's kind of on the up and up right now because he, at the beginning of last session, used a cool spell called Speak with Dead to interrogate the drow corpse. Got some really valuable information about everything. He feels hyper alert, hyper aware, and at the end of last session, our characters went into this underground passageway that has this kind of like Mines of Moria feel to it in a way. I think I made some kind of joke about the Mines of Moria, but Egner in these situations, it's like his home turf almost. He's going to have some kind of home field advantage due to his heightened senses, his ability to sense vibrations in the earth. Yeah, he is feeling full of purpose, feeling very confident of his ability to handle whatever comes their way. So, yeah, Egner's actually feeling good for once.
Um, I'll go next. Usually follow Agner with Ellie. She's pretty much just like one track mind right now, and it's not her usual one track mind. It's rescue her brother. um, she's pretty much just like dead set on that, whatever it takes. Essentially, she's kind of like tried to strategize a little bit around the fact that this has something to do with vampires. So she's like tried to have a bit of a think about precautions with that. She has a weird parasite attached to her, which she's not really dealt with. She's just kind of, I'll deal with it later.
Rat
I'm
route.
sure that's not going to be an issue, like, until then. But she managed to sort of work out getting this door open. So I mean, she's feeling pretty confident too. She flew for the first time, which was cool. As did Ein. And yeah, now she's just like gotta save my brother. That's about it, really.
Leodin actually is kind of having an internal conflict. Oh, what else is new? Uh, that in that she knows that she could have been more useful and done more to help the situation at the beginning of last session with the drow. In fact, in the previous battle with when they were fighting the drow, if she had used her powers, she could have gotten them someone to talk to who was alive, and she could have made them friendly and made them answer the questions that we wanted to know instead of, the dead one who felt free to refuse to answer things. But she also never wants to use those powers in that way. So she's feeling simultaneously guilty and also guilty about feeling guilty, which is also a comfortable place for Aaliyah to be in. So, that was a very frustrating situation because she knew that we could have gotten better answers if she had been willing to use her powers, but she also knows that she can't use those powers. So that was kind of gnawing on her mind. And then this part of the adventure where they were running through the desert and all that stuff, she really was just trying her best to not get so far inside of her own head that she makes a terrible mistake and ruins everyone's day. And at the moment, she's just kind of going along with what's happening and hoping that it will be enough to distract her from her own guilt. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Take it away, Mr. Asa Man.
Man, it always goes so fast. I'm like
Yeah, it
prepping up to the
does.
last minute, and then all of a sudden people stop talking, and I go, "Oh, it's my turn." Cool. Well, in that case, I will do the thing that I do as a DM, and I do it so very well. Uh, as you guys, as we ended last session, you had opened the mechanical doorway at the bed of this dried lake, and made your way into the hallway of this. Well, you don't know what yet. Mine, perhaps, since we already talked about Moria. You stepped in. You saw the fine stoneworked corridor. These cogs coming up out of the stone a few inches on the floor and on the walls. They appear to be made out of wood, where everything else is made of fine stone. And then you heard the mechanical whine of gears as the door closed behind you with a loud thud, covering your world in darkness. Takes a moment for all those of you who can see, for your eyes to adjust to the dark, your dark vision to set in, and you to see this world. In the darkness, there are lines of like slightly lighter coloration. It's not coloration; it's all gray, like gray veins that just run through the stone. Um, and it makes a abstract, decorative appearance to the hallway, making it look a little more elegant if you're looking at it through dark vision. But you see, the air has rushed through after the door closed and is now still and stagnant, and smells of neglect and dust. There's only one way forward unless you attempt to open the doorway.
Well, Eigner's not going to
Well,
try and fuck with the door at all. I do want to point out really quick that Eigner still technically has this feature from his background. He's got the Wanderer feature, so he's got an excellent memory and a mind for maps and such. And given that this is kind of his favored terrain, I'm going to say that he's making special note to try and map out the entire system of tunnels and hallways and stuff that they're going to go to. So he's going to
Okay.
specifically create. So if they have to backtrack here, if they feel like they need to, like, get out now, like, we're going to bust through the door, like, if we need to get back, then he can lead everyone right back. So
Gotcha.
to that end, he's going to be doing actually random little things where he's going to like clap maybe once really loud or something. He's going to like do this weird like echolocate thing and try and get a sense of his surroundings that way. Whoa. Whoa.
Cool. So just well setting up his own mental map and then figuring out where everything is at from there.
Exactly.
I will say, well, we only have invisibility for an hour, so we should probably get a move on if we want to make use of it and actually get anywhere.
Fine.
agreed.
I'll take
Alright.
point.
I'll follow you.
Eigner,
Oh yeah.
confidently.
Darun is with you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Darun is also along with you. That's the
Oh, yeah.
only NPC I have to run right now.
I did forget about Darun, which is unusual because usually I'm the one who remembers the NPCs.
How can you forget
Right.
Darun? But yeah, Egner will be the one confidently striding forward. Confidently.
As you are striding forward, um, roll me a dexterity.
Saving
So I'm gonna make it a
throw.
saving throw.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this
Just if
something?
you're-
All right. Riddle me this, Asa. Okay, +3 when not incapacitated. Okay. Any dexterity saving throw against a spell or other harmful effect that targets only you. This is like my shield feature. Would it be something where having a shield would help?
No, your shield's not going to come in handy here.
Oh, okay, shit. Okay. All right.
It's just a minor moment for me to have a thing that
Okay.
happen.
Well, have your moment, because I rolled a 3. -1 is 2. Have
All
your
right.
moment.
As you take a few steps forward, your toes snag on something and you kind of stumble forward a little bit, keeping yourself from falling. But as this happens, the rest of you see what Eigner tripped on is one of these slightly raised cogs. It shifted ever so slightly, and then something in the center uh, emanated light for a split second and then dissipated again. Eigner picks up the scent of like I guess burning dust. That's a smell, right?
Sure.
Like if you turn on a radiator after not using it for a long time and you get that or a heater
Mm.
and you get that smell of like all the things that are settled on it that start to catch fire and burn and
Yeah.
then it goes away real quick, you have that scent for just a moment.
Mm. Interesting.
Can I try and like work out what that might be? What it might
Of course.
as like artificery, dwarven making stuff. What check would you like?
I would say investigation or arcana would be accurate. You have your goggles, right? That's how come you can see in the dark?
Yeah.
And those have a time limit?
No. They're just you can just see in the dark.
Okay.
It just gives you dark vision.
Okay. I was just curious why you said we had visibility for an hour, so.
Invisibility.
Oh, invisibility. Okay, that's an entirely different thing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Let's go Arcana.
Okay.
22.
Yeah, so you move forward really quick, taking a look at what had just glown. You see that it's a sigil set into the center of these cogs in dwarven script, which you do speak, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, getting a good look at it, you can tell that this is a glyph of warding. Specifically, this one was designed to ignite into an explosion.
Oh god.
An exploding rune, if you will.
Okay. I immediately tell everyone to stop moving. Explain. There are probably millions of glyphs of warding all over this place. Seemingly all of these little cogs, maybe, that are sticking out of the wall seem to all have. Well, I've not checked everyone, but the one that you just tripped on, Eigner, was like an exploding trap, basically. So we need to be super careful.
God.
Plus, I probably know that like it might not even just be like tripping over them. Like it could be like even just passing by them. Like it's however they set up the like trigger, right?
Right.
Oh
Right.
god.
So
Which you are not able to quickly identify without probably casting Identify.
Okay. All right. Hold up.
So basically, I just want it could be anything. We need to be really
Okay.
careful.
So
but also
Eigner,
quick.
Don't look at it.
Ah! So in that case, Egner's whole body stiffens and he just like freezes in place, and he's like so scared he could barely like breathe or move or barely talk. But he quietly mumbles some verbal components under his breath, and he casts detect magic. So he tries to get a sense of where these magical fucked up traps are.
Very good call. I am happy you did this. You cast Detect Magic, and all around you, you feel a faint aura of illusory magic set into the walls. And there are sparks of what is Glyph of Warding? It's Transfiguration?
Can't
No.
remember. It's either
Evocation.
Evocation? Really? Oh, okay.
I think so.
All right.
I mean,
I
if it has explosions, it's probably evocation.
Anyway, whatever that glyph is, I'll look it up because this is
No
schools of magic. I need to get better about actually knowing.
word.
It might be abjuration or anywho. You feel these little flickers of magic sparsely placed
Abjuration. Okay.
along different parts of the corridor.
Uh huh.
Abjuration, but they are by the second diminishing.
All right. I'm sorry. Say that for me once more. So, do I sense anything on the floor, or do I just sense stuff on the
Yeah,
walls?
yeah, no, it's on the floors and on the walls,
Okay.
and they're spaced, reasonably apart where we can move past them easily enough. But they're also the abjuration magic is diminishing even as you're looking at it, it's dying away. Some of them just blipping out of existence entirely.
Huh. Okay.
Huh.
Eigner's gonna say in a very confused voice, I think they're going away. Um, hold on. All right, so if Egner like looks at the floor with this detect magic vision thing, would he be able to see the little pockets of the magic? Would he be able to lead people around it at all?
Yeah, it's essentially faint auras of abjuration in a very small sea of illusion.
Hmm.
You can't avoid the illusion magic, but it's also a very weak aura.
Okay. I think there's magic hiding the explosive things. I think that's what's going on. But I also think I can guide you around them. So he's gonna try and do that. He's gonna try and scoot and just like scoot back and show them the way to go around the first one. And he's gonna try and tell them to just follow my lead. And he's gonna try and get them through the minefield, as it were.
All right. So you begin to move your way through the minefield step by step. The rest of you falling along Agner's path, uh, making steps in the dust as you move. And after I don't know, maybe 100 or 200 feet, you find your way to a place where you can see the end of the corridor, and it is a spot where I do my notes again. At the end of the corridor, just on the edge of your vision, a set of double doors stands at the end of the hall. They're crafted of a fine metal, and the bracing of the doors at its center is a socket, and it seems that there's a large gem set in the middle of that socket. And part of what helps you see this at the distance of your dark vision is that it's setting a very small green light that illuminates parts of the door and allows you to just barely make out that the door is opened a crack, maybe just far enough that someone's able to slip through it. Egner, you see none of this.
Word. Do I get any magical senses off of the door?
Yes, there. Well, so the magic stops at the door.
Hmm.
It's just a void holes, a hole of black hole of magic, and then I need to again look at fucking spells. This is the one thing that I need to get better about when it comes to detect magic is knowing that what spells are what school of magic.
Yeah. It's tricky. It's tricky for sure.
Okay, and then there is you see just this faint purple etching, and it's a purple energy that you know is associated with evocation magic.
Hmm.
It too is sort of flickering in and out of existence. Not in and out of existence, but in and out of pulsating in its power,
Hmm.
as though the magic in that is beginning to dissipate.
I'm
If oh,
no go
if
for
Ellie
it.
doesn't lead her to it, Leah will describe what she sees.
Mm-hmm. I will warn the gals and just say, there's some magic up there that I'm really not too sure about. We should go check it out, but be careful.
We won't warn Darun. He doesn't need to know.
Yeah, only the girls.
Only the
Oh,
gals.
Oh yeah, forget about Darun.
I'll be all right. Just
Whatever.
make my way blindly through all this, and if I trip and explode us all, it'll be fine.
Yeah, Darun, just go like trip some traps for us, please. Just yeah.
Right, all right. That won't be a problem whatsoever.
Can we go and have a look at the door then? Like, Ellie
Right.
definitely wants to go and have a look at this
Of course.
unknown magic thing.
All right. Yeah, so you make your way towards the door, and the orb is probably about the size of a stone, like a large fist-sized stone, and it's just set into the center, and it looks as though uh, the way the bracing is set on the door, it looks as though there were channels along the door, and you can see from where the stone is set in that some of the greenish energy is emanating up a few inches from the orb itself, up some of these channels. Uh, and as you kind of are watching, the orb is just dimming slightly. At its zenith, when this thing is clearly used to open this, you assume it would just go in the center and then ignite along these channels and disengage whatever locking mechanism is in place. That power has already been used and it is seemingly on its way out.
Could I, like, would Ellie put it together well, I might not be right, but the reason that all of these traps and stuff are kind of fading is because they're so old? Like,
It could be an assumption made, of course.
Or is it that someone has gone ahead of us, like just ahead of us, and triggered everything?
It could also be an assumption made. I won't tell you how your
no.
characters think.
can I make some sort of, like,
Well, maybe we could roll to
Particularly
figure out how
you-
strong our characters are.
you know, like, particularly with the door as well. Like, if someone's been through here recently. Or it's
Yeah,
just-
you could do a check to look and see if anyone's been through here recently. That would be totally doable.
What would you like me to do?
What sounds reasonable? Investigation? Probably likely.
Investigate.
Mm. 10. I'm not. What's your 10.
Yeah, you kneel down, you look at the ground, you look at the space between the door, and you know, pretty sure this place has been used. That's all you got. Someone's used this place at some point.
I'll just Ellie stands up and just sort of nods to herself, like pretending that she discovered what she was intending to discover. Just as I thought. We should go.
As I expected. Everything is falling into place.
Could I? So the door is open now. Like, can I try and like peek around and look through the gap at what's in the next room?
Yeah. So you peek in through the wooden or the metal doors, and can see a short distance into this room. It's you can your dark vision. It's 60 foot, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think it just makes normal dark vision.
So your dark vision allows you to see. You're guessing possibly halfway into the room, maybe a little bit less. As you poke in, you see this room that has along the sides a couple of broken chairs and tables, some doorways leading off to the side, and a strange device. You can't quite make out what they are meant to be from this distance, but at about 40 feet from you, there are these squared devices that have some kind of screen on the top, and then above them is, what looks like maybe a conveyor belt. if your character would have an understanding of how that would actually look, uh, which she might, but more advanced than anything that she might have engineered or seen personally. Um, and it looks like at the base of these are a couple other crates around this area where this contraption is sitting below this conveyor belt. There are a few large wagons up against the wall that have um, like hitching harness stuff. It looks like all that's too short to be attached to a horse.
Hmm.
But yeah, whatever this room is, the equipment inside of it is in disrepair, is falling apart. It's also covered in thin layers of dust.
Okay.
Hmm.
Is Agnes detect magic still on? Or whatever out for
Oh yeah.
10
Um,
minutes.
Yeah.
yeah. This passageway. How long does detect magic last?
Like 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, you guys have probably been walking a good. I'd probably say you're nearing the end of your detect magics feature. You've been walking 8 or 9 minutes.
Sure.
I grab hold of Eigner, like, push him to. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna presume he needs to kind of like have essentially line of sight, even though he doesn't have line of sight.
Yeah.
To like the crack in this doorway and be like, "Do you see any magic in the other room?"
Eigner will crane his head through. Does he see anything?
As
You
you
can't
look
do.
in, the room is an absolute void of darkness. You look in,
Mm.
you see like you normally see. You don't feel those spiderly tendrils of any way. So
Okay.
seems to be magicless.
Yeah. Eigner will tell everyone, I think it's safe. And then to prove it, he will walk forward. Nothing bad could happen, right?
Nothing bad at all.
Nothing bad. He will
As
smell and take in the musty, dusty smell. Sorry, continue.
as you step in, you take in the musty, dusty smell of this room, and it is heavy with the scent of limestone.
Hmm. I think we are in a mine after all, Eigner muses.
Right, that only makes sense. There were quite a few of them hidden away in the old days. This might be one of them.
Hmm. Hmm.
As you all step into the room, one thing that does stand out as you were able to move a little further in is these machines that I've just described, these conveyor belt machines. Uh, in the center of the room, between two of them, just at the 60-foot mark, is a large stalagmite stalactite connection, like it comes down from the ceiling and from the floor, and it seems to be made entirely of limestone. The rest of the room has got limestone sort of clinging to the walls, as well as I described earlier, dilapidated machines that are conveyor belts with these um, devices underneath them, a few doors along the sides of the wall. The room itself is about 100 feet in diameter, and you can see that it's sort of a storage space for the minerals coming in from the mine.
Hmm. Eigner will cruise around the perimeter and get a sense for how many exit points there are in this room.
Okay. Um, so as he's cruising the perimeter, there are three rooms to once to the left, three rooms to the, or two rooms to the right, as well as a passageway that leads up between just past the limestone uh, stalactite pillar. We'll call it a pillar. Just past the limestone pillar, there is a set of staircase that begins, and they are very shallow, but are very not steep, but short, uh, but deep steps
Hmm.
that lead up at a very light incline. and you just kind of you're able to make that out by making your way along the room and like hitting it with your foot and then stepping up and seeing that the step goes back quite a bit, then further than a normal step, and then
For sure.
yeah. What are the other two doing, Leah and Ellie?
I mean, is there anything like would Ellie be drawn to anything is like particular here, or because she's pretty much just like thinking, I guess probably need to go up, right? We ideally need to be looking at an up direction rather than
That seems reasonable. Up would be a place to go. Although Darun opens one of the doors and says, "It's not much, but there are some beds in this room here if we fancy a rest."
Do we need one?
I mean, I need spell slots, but we don't have time to sleep.
No.
We're not sleeping 8 hours.
Right.
Yes, Eigner?
I mean, all I'm saying is that if we did do a long rest, then I could prepare different spells, and we would have an easier time of finding your brother. Is all I'm saying.
Yes. But 8 hours in the belly of the beast, one might say, is perhaps not the best idea.
I mean, you're right, but
I can't see any reason why we need to worry about anything. This place is clearly abandoned. There's no sign anyone's been through it recently. We had to go through a process of breaking down a wall in order to open the door. Can't see why anything would have been following us or would be ahead of us in here. Or maybe even behind.
Well,
Orcs didn't see us enter.
Suppose what is 8 more hours of being held captive? Not that we know how long 8 hours is to my brother. He could age by another 20 years by the time we find him in the 8 hours of sleep. We don't know.
That's true.
look,
But
I mean, Ellie, ultimately it's up to you. But I think that I could be of better help if we do take the time. But yeah, it's up to you. I understand that urgency is a huge concern.
I am low on magical energy as well. So, Leah?
I'm fine, but I'll go with whatever.
Oh god, I don't know. Okay, let's sleep. Yeah.
Take a
Just- I
chance.
don't know what spells back there.
so the room that Darun's standing outside of, it's got two bedrolls in there. They're laid on crudely made beds that are just essentially they have cut a section off from the wall to allow you to put a bed on, but it's moldering bed on top of a stone slab essentially. So this one room only has the two beds.
I don't need a bed. I can just sit on the floor and meditate.
All right. So Darun says, "Well, you two," and pointing at Leah or Ellie and Eigner, "you can take this room. I'll look at the next one."
Fine.
Okay.
Egg-
Blushing.
Egner just shrugs and goes, "Fine. Yeah. I just need a place to smack my head down for the night."
All right.
Also, is it safe us all splitting up? Should we not all stay in the same room? I think we should stay. Actually, I think we should stay all in the same room. We've got surely we have sleeping bags.
Yeah, I'm
with us.
kind of wondering that.
I'll sleep on the floor because one, I don't say this out loud, but the whole not trusting people thing is starting to sink on a little bit, and having Darun off in a room on his own where he could just go off and warn people.
Wandering
is
off.
not a good idea.
Yeah.
So let's all just stay in the same room.
I'll sit by the door with my meditating.
All right. Yeah,
And Ein will sit with Leah.
that's quite sensible. So entering this room, it's not a very large room. There's just enough space for the two beds raised up from the floor, with a little bit of space in between them, which I guess a third person could sleep in. And then there is to one side a pit that drops about maybe 2.5, 3 feet,
Oh, that's lovely.
and it looks like a little tub. It's got a edge, you know. I can't think of words. Anyway, it's got a raised section that you can step onto and then down into this tub, and then at the bottom there's a couple inches of warm water. It's being fed from a hot spring underneath, and it's just kind of bubbling up a few inches of warm water. And yeah, Darun goes,
That's it.
"Well, it's nice. Have a bath."
I mean,
Yeah,
We're all probably so dirty and dusty and deserty.
I'll skip it for now.
I mean, it's only a few inches of water. It can't do too much. Maybe rest your toes.
Ooh.
Wash your feet.
Darun starts to, dismantle his armor, taking it off piece by piece. And yeah,
can I, because we're resting, so it makes sense to use up some of my spell slots now.
Yeah.
I would like to, so I'll kind of like, when we're all settling down and starting to like set up to go to sleep, I'll turn to everyone and say, so you know when we fought those things in the sand, something kind of latched onto me. Don't really know what to do about it. It seemingly it's in the ethereal plane. And I am gonna cast blink on myself so that I can go into the ethereal plane and just double check if it's still there.
All right.
sounds sensible.
Yeah. Just whack it on the head. That's usually what I do to ethereal parasites. Eigner kind of rolls his eyes a little bit. It seems like he doesn't all the way believe Ellie, like he just doesn't understand what the hell that is, so he's like, alright, whatever.
Okay, I'm gonna cast it on myself. And I'm gonna look at myself and I'm gonna look at the others. Like just to check that there aren't any around their farms as well.
Yeah, as you cast yourself into the ethereal plane, you are the only one with a parasite on you. But what you do see in this place, the others don't have anything else on them, but you do see these little tiny glowing creatures that are sort of settling and scuttling slowly away from you, leading. It looks like they're headed towards the center, the entrance hall area that you came from.
Can
And
I
if you
follow them?
Yeah, if you follow them to take a look, what you see as you get to the way that leads to the entrance hall is you see a mass of them surrounding the orb at the center of the iron doors, and then you see a bunch of them scurried about the floor in that room, and anything, and there's a few of them that are moving past you like a small trickle of ants, but inside the entrance hall, Eigner was looking at all this magic of. They're all over everything, just like those little tiny sugar ants you get on when you get a little bit of something sweet on your countertop. They're just swarming it all. The ethereal parasite is still stuck on you, suckling away at your magical energies.
Can I try and like pry it off? Is there any way of like getting my sword out and like, oh, it's a magic sword, probably not the best idea. I'd probably eat my sword. I think it's a non-magical dagger or something.
I'm sure you have some kind of tool somewhere in there, a screwdriver or something
Yeah.
that you're able to.
Yeah.
As you take out this object and begin to attempt to pry at the ethereal parasite, it does nothing. It just moves through it, as though the object you are holding doesn't actually exist.
Okay, so I'm looking at ethereal parasite remover. Okay. Ethereal tweezers. Okay, I pop back into existence I'll pop back in the other room and then have to like walk back in through the door.
Durard gives a start. Just where'd you come from?
I just, the ethereal plane just took a trip.
Oh.
So the bug's still on me, and there are also like ant, like ethereal bugs all over all of the magic things out there, which might be while the magic was running out because there are ants eating it. But that's gross. I feel like I can't sleep here now. Unclean. Can't unsee it. I don't know.
Well,
I don't think that necessarily I'm going to be able to actually help you, but I'd be willing to try my new ability to remove curses. Probably wouldn't work, but it's worth.
It won't hurt, right?
Yeah.
And hey, maybe I've got
Yeah.
a curse I don't know
Yeah.
about, and it'll take that off instead. I don't know.
Yeah, so Leah will just put a hand on Ellie's shoulder and do remove curse.
all right. And you do cast this spell, and then as you blink back into the ethereal plane, the thing is still there.
Pop back.
Yeah.
Yeah, still there. Thanks, so.
Well, shit.
I figured.
So the concerning thing is that they appear to eat magic. Not great that it's on my leg, I presume. Because I've got a lot of magic items. I've got a lot of actual magic myself. I'd rather it wasn't like draining my magic away. I don't really. I don't know what to do about it. I tried to crowbar it off. Didn't work. Yeah.
Huh.
Good news is none of you have one though. Congrats. Well done.
Well, okay, well that's good.
Well-
Yeah, that seems like that should be a question for someone who knows a little more. I don't know. Maybe you should talk to that weird old guy that you keep talking to and hanging out with. You know who I'm talking about. I can't remember his name right now. Oh yeah, that's his name. That's his name. Seems like that seems like a question for that guy.
It does.
That
But
fucker.
I have zero way of contacting him.
Hmm.
He'll show up when he wants to show up. It's not. Well, it's not the current priority. We'll keep an eye on the situation.
Wait, hold on a second. Hold on a second. This, I don't know if this is like breaking any kind of continuity or anything like that, because I honestly can't remember. A little fuzzy with this, but maybe Eigner rustles around in his pack and he finds the sending stone from Finnegan's
From
Emporium.
Finnegan's Emporium?
Yeah, where he was like constantly talking to Finnegan and just like getting all pissed at him. Like that's totally up to
Did
Asa.
he take it?
I will give you a check. I want Eigner to make an Arcana check to search for that stone.
What? Okay, interesting. An Arcana check. It's a solid +0 on it, so what will I roll? I'm gonna use Old Blue for it. Trusty Old Blue. 19! Oh. Super
All right. You are able to fiddle through your pack, and you aren't thinking of this object at the moment. You're just kind of taking inventory of your stuff to make sure you have everything you need to get to bed down and be ready for the night. And this little stone rolls out of your bag. You hear it clutter to the ground and rest against your leg. You pick it up and for a moment can't place what the hell this thing is.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of you see Eigner holding the Finnegan sending stone.
No, I would probably know that you had that because I would have seen it. Ellie would have seen Finnegan with the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Eigner will do he'll do the Helen Keller, and he'll like
Feel it.
feel the stone all over and try and get a sense, like trying to remember, and he'll be mumbling
Yeah.
under his breath, "What the hell? When? What
It,
the?"
it comes to you. This stone was given to you when you ventured deep into Finnegan's Finporium, and it was a way of communicating with him.
Oh, that's it, Ellie. Obviously, this is what you need. Ellie, this is it. You can yell
Yeah.
at your old man friend with this.
One friend.
Yeah.
Okay. I take it. I guess like this is kind of interesting for Ellie because it's something that another Ellie has built. So like it's kind of like my design, but slightly different. Like
Hmm.
interesting. Yeah, okay. I'll just take it as kind of like okay. I mean, it's worth a try,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Look, all your problems are going to be solved now. You're welcome. It's yeah.
Okay. I will try and talk into the stone and be like, hello? Finnegan? Are you there?
You say that, and there's a moment, and you kind of feel something like staticky, like slight static electricity against your fingertips, and like a buzz in your head, and then, oh, what? You got to speak up. This is what are you doing with this thing?
She starts shouting in the room. Hi, it's Ellie. I was wondering if you could help me with something.
Whoa, Ellie, slow down. Not so loud. You probably sound like a fucking idiot. Quiet it down there. What do you need?
I have a ethereal magic parasite on me. How do I get rid of it?
Oh, good. You got yourself a little Klingon there. Been visiting the ethereal realm. Just popping around, checking out little things you probably shouldn't be seeing. Well, I've got a cream for that, but it's not gonna do you any good right now.
Okay. Anywhere I can get the cream.
I mean, how many of those things have you been able to catch so far?
Catch.
Yeah,
I have one
you gotta
attached
catch
to
it.
my leg.
You gotta goop it up. You gotta maybe add a little bit of alcohol in there. One of Eigner's hairs does the trick. But I don't know. If you can catch it, you can make your own cream to get rid of it.
That's a great catch-22.
Yeah, but
You gotta catch the thing
the
to make
only
the
one-
cream to get it off you.
can you make it from the ants? There are ants outside. There are little ethereal ants. You don't know where we are. Outside means nothing to you. But...
Right? Yeah, there are ants everywhere, but no, those things are useless. Those things I mean, they might make a good meal, but only if you're really desperate.
You eat ethereal ants? Oh, okay, whatever.
You don't eat ethereal ants?
No. Are they good?
I mean, of course. Why wouldn't they be good? Why would I suggest something that tastes terrible? It tastes like pizza. If you rolled pizza on an anthill.
Well, okay. So I just smushed one up and put some alcohol in and one of Eigner's hairs, and that's it. How does that make a cream?
Specifically at one of Eigner's hairs. One of his beard hairs, if you can get it.
I mean, I can get it. Of course, I can get it.
But if he cries, it doesn't do any good. It loses all of its power then.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, Eigner is a crybaby. I like that all of this, everyone in the room can hear apart not Finnegan style. They can just hear Ellie like One of Agnes has. Oh yeah, Agnes does cry. Like, cries all the time.
It's a big old crybaby, that Eigner. Eigner will be all grumbly at it. He'll just keep grumbling.
You're gonna have to catch it though. And look, I can't really help you with that. You know, you either know how to do it or you don't.
Awesome. Ever helpful.
I do what I can.
Thanks.
And you hear him start to like mumble back a response, but it's like cutting in and out. But it's in the way that someone who's like, "Oh no, I'm losing the signal. I can't hear you."
Sorry, Mom. Really bad reception here.
Exactly like that. That was perfect.
Sorry, Mom.
Oh god, I passed the stone back to Eigner. just shake my head like
No,
I don't even know.
no, please, keep it.
Okay.
Seriously, I don't want it.
Seriously,
Keep it.
I don't want it.
Right.
Well, let's go to sleep then. I'll deal with it another day.
All right.
I will check all of my magic items are still working before I go to sleep. All the ones I've built and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, as you have still blipped in and out of etherealness or the ethereal plane, and you know what you're looking for, you see an ant or two that appear on magic items that you guys are holding on to. You give them a quick flick, they just zing off, and then kind of like swirl back like a boomerang. And then you guys head to bed for the night. The watch system and the night goes by, or the rest goes by, with no event whatsoever.
Sick.
But when you wake Ellie, you do feel that just something about your own power seems a bit diminished. And you recover one fewer spell slot.
Any specific one?
Doesn't matter the level. So I'm assuming just a first level spell slot.
Yeah, okay. Oh man. Okay. Yeah, when we wake up then I'll just be like, yep. Feeling a little bit actually under the weather. No, maybe leaving it isn't a good idea, but it's fine. We've got more important things to do.
Yes, and we can proceed with all haste now. I mean, I do want to do one more thing. And Eigner, after he wakes up and does his quick little morning ritual and stretches and everything, he'll go back out to the main room that they were just in with all the limestone. And it seemed like people were kind of talking about going up, like going up the stairs was the kind of direction that people were talking about going, right? So Eigner will do one quick thing. He will kneel in front of the stairs and do a little spell ritual. He will be doing a ritual version of augury, which I just decided to prepare along with locate creature.
Cool.
And he's got some bones. Oh yeah, he's gonna roll them bones is what he's gonna do. He's gonna be a soothsayer and say some sooths is
All right.
what he's going to do. So he is going to ask specifically about this course of action. Going up the stairs as a way of finding Ellie's brother. Will I get the wheel, the woe, wheel and woe, or nothing?
Probably the
Yeah.
third one.
Wheel
So
and
as you
woe.
give the things a bit of a jingle, and you get double wheel.
So that's
seems-
double good.
It seems Urana believes that going along this path will be great for you.
Double
And
plus
yours.
good.
Oh.
Oh.
For,
Do you come in and tell us that?
Oh,
Because
it's double plus good. I love it. Well, I mean, it takes a while to do the ritual, so if people are like, "Hey, where's Eigner?" and then they look out there, they'll see him like chanting and kneeling over, and he's like rolling bones in his hand like this, like
He's
four,
like,
four,
now
five,
I'm
six.
being asked to make an investigation check.
Sure.
Agner's just playing solo D&D.
Actually, I mean,
So like,
huh?
go on.
I was gonna say
Go on.
that someone could be walking up to him, and just at that moment where he's rolled double wheel, and he's gently putting his fingertips over the bones to feel the incision on there for the wheel symbol, and he'll be just running his fingertips along the bones, and he'll say, "Yeah, yeah, this is it. This is it."
I'm gonna say that Ellie comes in and sees that because, yeah, she's obviously very sensitive to the whole Urana thing. And she would probably know what that spell was because she knows magic. So,
Sure.
Um,
And she's aware of the whole like idea
yeah.
of like rolling bones to like try and predict some kind of event.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
unheard of.
So I'm gonna like come up behind Agnes like with my arms folded and just be like, "Well, what's she telling you?"
Um, Eigner kind of cocks his head a little bit, not sure why Ellie's got to take that tone of voice, and says, well, it seems like this is going to be a good idea. It was a good call to say we should go upstairs." Yeah.
Oh, really?
Um,
See, that puts me off because I wonder what her motivation for us. Why does she think it's particularly good that we go upstairs? She doesn't have good intentions for you or the rest of us.
Look, I mean, I understand that you would be a little bit hesitant and whatnot, but who's to say that's a reading actually coming from her? I mean, it could be a reading from some other higher power or whatnot. But I mean, even if it does come from her or not come from her, she's still a deity. You know what I mean? Like when you refer to the deities, when you try and beseech for their guidance, like, it's not always an agenda thing, you know?
Agnes is always an agenda with gods. They all have their own motivations. They're all doing things for their own reasons. That's why you should be relying on arcane magics and science, not gods.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. Look,
You know she's evil, right? You know she's one of the evil gods.
I'm just trying to help. I'm just trying to help. I'm just trying to help you find your brother. And if you don't want me to help right now, then I don't know. I can just stay here and eat beef jerky and drink what little bit of whiskey I hid away in my flask or whatever it is that I want to do. If you want me to not help, I can just stay here. But if you do want help, then
I
I'm going to help in the way that I am able to.
Fine. Yes. I would like your help. Please. She's like looking up at the ceiling like stubbornly. Like, even though you can't see that
Good
she's
thing, yeah, good thing Eigner can't see that. And then Eigner just sighs a little bit and then actually reaches out and grabs Ellie on the shoulder and just gives a small comforting squeeze and says, "Look, I know it's been a very stressful time, and maybe I haven't been the most understanding lately. Uh, and I promise that we'll have a time to talk this all out. Obviously, we're under a bit of stress right now, and we should probably just get going. So, yeah, um, it's going to be okay. Just remember that. It's going to be okay. Now, Ellie, can you try and describe for me in the greatest detail possible what your brother looks like?"
Um, she will describe how he looks in the sleepwalk. But she'll also warn that that was some time ago now, and I don't know how quick this aging thing happens.
Mm-hmm.
Whether he's exactly the same now, I don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
this is what we saw. Also, Leah could probably help a little bit with that description because she briefly saw him asleep.
Yeah, she'll add
So.
in whatever details she saw.
Okay. So, Egner, after taking in the whole description and the whole detail, he's going to close his eyes, focus his mind, repeat all of the details to himself. He'll say Ren's name over and over again. He'll like mumble to himself the descriptions that Leah and Ellie gave him. He's just going to try and like recreate in his mind's eye what this person looks like. And then he's going to cast a spell. He's going to cast Locate Creature. So as we move, we'll have this 1,000-foot radius around Eigner, where if he picks up Ren, he will be able to triangulate. Bloop, bloop, bloop. There he is. You know?
Okay.
But yeah, we're just for the next hour, we just need to kind of like haul ass and see if we can get Ren on Egner's radar.
All right.
I will also. I would say that I'll have topped. I'll have topped off our invisible wrench. I think it's a wrench. Invisible wrench.
It was
Right,
a
right,
wrench.
right.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So it's got the full charges on it again. Which I think we should use. Like we should go kind of cautiously, and then as soon as we start to think that maybe anything's coming, we'll use it, or should we just use it now and it'll be like 2 hours of invisibility if we do it one after the other now.
I think the former plan of cast it when we think we might actually need it. That'd be my personal.
So maybe
vote.
when as soon as we come to anywhere that looks like it's more lived in, or
Populated.
there's been movement through it rather than this old, we'll use it before that.
Okay.
Darun hefts his halberd onto his shoulder and says, "Well, I'm ready. Been ready for a little while now."
There's no time like the present.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Say that Leah actually is pretty, like she did do her ritual outside of the door before settling in for the meditation part, and she's actually quite like calm and centered right now and feeling much better than she did yesterday. So she's not really bleeding emotions or anything at the moment.
As what's the marching order up the steps going to be?
Um,
First,
Eigner
just
first?
following the trail,
sure.
and then Ellie would probably be like right behind.
So
Mhm.
Darun and Leah are making up the rear a little bit. And Darun's
Iron at the back.
yeah,
Get the
I can
irons
be in the
with us.
back. Darun kind of strange ritual you undertake there.
I thought you were sleeping.
Yeah, well, as they say, trust comes in short supply. Thought it might be a good idea to keep an eye on all of us, make sure we're all in the same place. That was Ellie's call, wasn't it?
It's a good idea. The ritual is here to keep me centered and to keep you and others safe.
Ah, so there's something to worry about from you to like then.
Yes, I have powers that I cannot always fully control. The ritual helps with that.
See. Well, as long as it helps, I won't worry too much about it.
It only matters to me, I promise.
Okay. And at this point, you've all made your way up these steps. It's taken you quite a distance. The entire journey probably lasts about half an hour as you're steadily going up. On either side of you are these conveyor belts sloping down. They have like ledges, not ledges, but walls to keep anything going down these conveyor belts from spilling off the sides. And as you continue, you reach the top of the steps, and it opens into a large room, a massive chamber that you can't see very far into with your limited dark vision. But what you can see, what first catches your glimpses as you get up to the top of these, is these large trees growing up out of the ground. And as you step closer, you see that they are made of stone. And it looks as though they have fissures up along what makes up their bark that look to be the remnants of veins of some kind of ore deposits. And as you're taking in these massive trees, you realize you're in an underground forest made up of these stone trees that were once houses to mineral deposits. And Eigner's boot crunches on something. And as Ellie looks down to see what Eigner stepped on, she sees that he has caved in the skull of a humanoid figure that looks to be about the stature of a dwarf. As you look around the floor of this room, there are bones scattered all over the place. Some roughly the height of a dwarf, some larger, some wearing full armor and having hammers or war axes, some with what seem to be the remnants of rotted away clothes and picks and shovels and mining equipment.
Sick.
Can I ask
Very
Drew
important.
what might have happened here?
Daroon drops down, takes a look at one of the figures and says, "Well, this one's not a miner. There's some kind of guard." And then he looks at the armor and says, "Hey, this is a particular house, so he'd be a house guard. Strange. Not sure what would have called them in for." And then he kind of moves about, kicks over a skull, and you can see large tusks coming up from the bottom jaw. And its hand, the bone, or its decayed hand is inches from a pickaxe, and he has a axe buried in the chest cavity. "Right. Looks like we've come across an uprising. Seems like there was a bit of a scuffle here. They called in the house guards, and that might be the reason why this mine's abandoned."
Okay. Well, Agnes, there are dead bodies all over the floor in here. You did just break a skull. Perhaps we should try and not disturb the bodies too much.
Yes, I will be more careful walking around.
I will reach out and take Agnes' hand, like after the kind of like warm gesture he gave me downstairs, like it's kind of her olive branching out a little bit, and go to like lead him around the bodies specifically so he doesn't step on anymore.
Okay.
How
As
fresh
you
are
guys-
they?
Oh, they're skeletons.
Fully skeletons. Okay, so it's been
Fully
quite
skeletons.
some time.
Been
Okay.
quite some time. Egner's not tuned in too much to his immediate surroundings because he's honestly like just trying to focus on the spell, focus on concentrating. He is like focusing all the way on the periphery of his magical sense and just trying to sniff out any little clue.
So there are several times as you're walking along this thread, this vibrating line that's leading you in the direction you want, that Ellie pulls you away. And Ellie, you notice it looks as though Eigner is trying to step on every skeleton possible at the moment. You're every few moments having to like redirect him, but you are Eigner, you are making your way toward the western wall of this room.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so if you guys, I mean, I guess it'd be like the left wall. Uh, you're making your way towards the left wall of this room, and as you guys do sort of get a better mapping of it, there are some tunnels and pathways leading off into other parts, presumably other mining chambers. Um, there are carts and wagons, some like the ones that you saw earlier that have the hitches, some that are hand carts. There are these large drill-looking devices that look to be like hand crankable, and a few of the skeletons are actually just like these mounds lifting up off the ground that are the armor-plated remains of the belay that they had used to move around the heavier bits of stone and minerals.
You mean the bulette?
That's the one.
That's it. You said it all
I
French
would,
like. The bullet.
well,
Is
that's
it
how I've always said it because it's spelled all French-like.
François Bullet?
All right, so yeah, you make your way towards that door to the left side of the room.
Mm-hmm.
Are Leah and Darun still bringing up the rear?
Yeah.
I just realized, and therefore Leah just realized one other thing. So she's just going to quickly say very quietly to Darun, "Did you see my arms?
He nods.
Please don't tell them about the scars."
As long as it doesn't put us in danger, I can keep a secret.
It won't. Thank you.
And Darun's face in all this while is very grave. He seems very disturbed by the room that he's in currently.
Oh yeah, I just realized that Eigner's totally going to hear what Leah said to Darun, but that's fine. She doesn't remember that.
Possibly. He's pretty well focused on his thing, but she may not be aware of that.
Oh, that's true.
Secret.
That is true.
Wait, secret roll. I'll do it. Actually, I'll
Mm.
do it. I'll do it. Disadvantage secret roll.
Okay.
Give the benefit of the doubt. Secret. Let's keep it secret. Keep it safe.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it secret. Okay. Cool. Done.
All right. Yeah, you get to this door, and I need to pull up the notes. I'm sifting through all the different information in this room and aware of what you guys do and don't know. So, you have to excuse me for moments of just like staring into the blank.
Sure.
Oh man, I missed one of the coolest details, which is the floor is just black with the remnants of dried blood. I
Ooh.
thought that was one of the coolest parts of this room.
Ugh.
Alright. One of the hardest things about describing these rooms is that you're just relying on your dark vision, so I haven't actually given you a full description of the room.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. So, you get to this door, and it's just a small but sturdy iron door. Looking at it, you guys can figure out pretty quickly that it's locked. And Ellie, you can make out along the base, like the center of the door, an inscription in Dwarven. And as you notice that, Eigner, your senses are just shot to life by the sound of something rustling, like many leaves, simultaneously from all around, echoing off the walls of this chamber.
Mm.
And I know it's a little bit early, but I'm going to take our break now.
Mm. That's okay.
Because it's a bit of a suspenseful spot,
Mm-hmm.
stop, but it'll be perfect for the next part of our game.
The sound of leaves rustling. Eigner is freaked out yet again. We're going to take a break. Join us in about 15 minutes, and we'll continue with this stuff, yo. Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back.